everybody, this is Tiffany Cossey with Cossey & Company LLC, a new CPA firm here in Carthage, Missouri. And I'm here today to tell you what a CPA is and why you should consider using one. I also want to help distinguish between what a CPA is and what a regular accountant is. So a CPA is somebody who has had between 124 and 150 college credit hours with an emphasis in accounting. That means that they've gone to college for 4 to 5 years and have been heavily immersed in accounting courses. On top of that, they have to have passed the CPA exam, and that's a national exam that only has a pass rate of about 42%. So somebody who's passed it probably really knows their stuff. And then on top of that, every year a CPA has to have continuing training of at least 40 hours. So we need to stay current in our field. What a lot of people don't realize is that accounting changes, especially taxes. And if you don't stay on top of it, you won't know what you're doing. Now, to distinguish that between somebody who is an accountant but not a CPA, an accountant doesn't have to meet any of those requirements. A person can one day be involved in one trade. They can be your server at a restaurant, they can be your hairdresser, they can be your mechanic, and the next day they can decide that they're going to be a tax preparer and offer to do your taxes for a fee. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't some very good tax preparers out there who aren't CPAs, but what I'm saying is you want to make sure that you check credentials and make sure that it's somebody that you trust. Don't just go to somebody because they say that they can do your tax return, because anybody can actually do your tax return. I actually, a little bit of a horror story, knew somebody who did exactly that. They bought a tax software and decided they were going to charge people to do their taxes. And 5 years later, they called me and asked how you file a state tax return. That's a little bit scary because somebody who's doing your taxes should know that if you're filing federal, then you really should be filing a state tax return too, and they definitely should know how to do that for you. So just be careful, make sure that you select who is doing your taxes very carefully. Also, something else that you may not know is that going to a CPA may not cost a whole lot more than going to just a regular tax preparer. And in fact, it may cost about the same amount. Some of the larger national tax chains that are set up specifically to do taxes during the tax season will charge you between $300 and $400, and they will have people who have been trained for about 60 hours who are doing your taxes. And 60 hours may sound like a whole lot, but that's about a week and a half in work week time, as opposed to somebody who's passed a certified exam and they've been in college for 4 to 5 years and had 40 hours of training every year. So you want to compare and contrast who you're looking at to do your tax returns. A CPA may charge you the same or less than one of those national firms. So when you're choosing who's going to do your tax return, just make sure to choose wisely and choose somebody you can trust.